What if I told you that most people are completely oblivious to one of God's most unbelievably beautiful pieces of design because it's hidden somewhere where most people are afraid to look, in the process of death and dying? Today I'm going to borrow the eyes of somebody who's seen death firsthand as she sat beside the bed of literally hundreds of people as they took their final breath. Hospice nurse Julie. I've absolutely no idea what faith, if any, Julie has, but her experience with death and dying is what I want to share with you today. She says in one of her videos that I have never seen anybody panic at the end of life, and that stopped me, because if that's true, it means even in our final moments, God's mercy is still at work in the bodies He made for us.
To be clear, I am speaking about a hospice death or some kind of gradual death, right? Not all deaths are like that. Sometimes there's car accidents or gunshots. I'm not talking about those kinds of death. I am talking about the gradual kind of death. The misconception happens here, like I said, because one, people don't see it often, so they don't know what it looks like. They don't know what to expect.
Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. We fear the unknown, and death is the ultimate unknown. It's natural to be afraid. However, we're not alone. God is with us. His rod and His staff comforts us even in the darkest valley. By daring to look at the inevitable, we see that here, even in the shadow, God hasn't abandoned us.
In the actively dying phase, the last phase of life that I truly believe is built in us to help us die so we don't have these panic moments, or we don't feel like we're suffocating or we're grasping at straws, trying to stay alive. That doesn't happen because our body is built to die, and it helps us gradually do it.
For you formed my inward parts, you knitted me together in my mother's womb. The same God who knit you together for birth has also prepared you for death. There is a process as natural as breathing or digesting food. God has left nothing to chance. Not your conception, not your birth, not your life, and not your final breath. The body that once protected you in birth now protects your spirit as you're ushered on into eternity.
Our body is built to die, and it helps us gradually do it. And when the person is in the actively dying phase, they are no longer conscious, they are not eating and drinking, they are not waking up, they are having changes in breathing, which is purposely happening because our bodies are shutting down. So the body is doing it. There's metabolic changes, which causes the person to breathe different. It's not the person suddenly realizing, I'm dying, I'm gonna hyperventilate. That's not what's happening. The body's slowly shutting down, changing metabolically, and then causing the person who is unconscious to breathe different.
For everything, there is a season, a time to be born and a time to die. Fear comes from uncertainty. Will I know what to do? Will I suffer? But God has already written the sequence. Every change in breathing and every reducing heartbeat carefully orchestrated to ease fear and reduce pain. And it absolutely didn't have to be this way. There is no evolutionary advantage in a gentle death. This is pure mercy, a final gift from a God who gave everything so that you could know Christ.
I've been in a hospital setting where someone is panicking because they're in a hospital setting, they don't know they're dying, they haven't prepared themselves, the family hasn't prepared, so there's this big kind of panic moment, which I think is incredibly unfortunate, and it happens because we live in a death-denying society.
So teach us to number our days that we may get a heart of wisdom. Panic doesn't come from death, it comes far before that in the denial. When we cling to the impossible hope of staying here forever, we experience a fear that God never meant for us to feel. Wisdom begins when we stop pretending that we're immortal and place our trust in the one who has already conquered death.
One thing I always love saying to my hospice patients, and I did not come up with this, I'm not sure who did, but whoever said it is a genius. Death is not an emergency, at least a hospice death. If you are on hospice, you and your family should know that you are on hospice to live out the rest of your life. But that does mean we know you're at the end of life and you will have this slow, gradual decline. Being in that actively dying phase is not an emergency. In fact, it's the most normal thing that could possibly happen in this situation.
Precious in the sight of the Lord is the death of his saints. Heaven never panics. Death isn't a glitch in the system or something that by fighting or worrying about we can postpone by even 1 minute. It's the final line in God's plan for his children, the moment that he welcomes them home.
When people aren't prepared, when they don't know what's coming, when they don't know what to expect, they panic. Of course, this is their loved one. Their loved one's saying things that make them scared and they're uncomfortable, so they panic. Take them to the hospital. The hospital is built and made to save people at all costs, right? So it's very panicky, it's scary, and it feels very emergent.
The world clings to a life it can never keep, but for the believer, we cling to a security in Christ that we could never lose. And when the race is run, we can rest, knowing that the same hands that made us in the beginning will now carry us home with grace and peace. So Julie's right, our bodies are made to die, but what she's really describing is a creator who refuses to abandon us even in death. What if the final mercy of God was that he designed us to die gently so that by the time we leave, we're already halfway home? So yeah, there is an unimaginable beauty built into death, because it's not the failure of God's design, it's the completion of it. So if this video gave you peace, I'd encourage you to share it with somebody else who needs that peace too. And if you'd like it to share with more people, don't forget to hit that like button. Let's help more people see that even death bears the fingerprints of God's mercy. Until next time, take care.